I know. Um, there we go. So we've got a great panel and a bunch of guests and all kinds of cool stuff to get on and get talking about. First, we've got our regulars here. We got Slavi in, of course. How's it going?
Hey, it's going great. Thanks.
Good. We got Commander McMillan in. How's it going, buddy? Excellent here. And I'm just finishing my setup in the background, so Starsky and his buddy are actually on the show properly. Sorry, we're last minute it here to say the least. Here we go. We've got Rudy in, Rudy Acosta from his channel. We'll get it's Rudy Reacts. That's it, and we'll get links in and stuff. How's it going, Rudy?
Pretty good.
Good to see you again. Yeah. We got a man we've done some fundraising for the last little bit, and we'll get updates and stuff today. We got Brit in Ukraine at the Ukraine mission on YouTube. How's it going, buddy? Oh, do we hear him?
Always lovely to be here. Always lovely to be here.
Awesome. And first special guest from Ukraine Matters, we got Georgie back. How's it going, man? Great to have you back on the channel.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I've had on a big lull with a lot of collabs, so this is probably the first one in a while. It's really nice to be here. Nice seeing you all, guys.
Oh, man, it's great to have you back. Lots to talk about, lots to get into, some fun to be had. Can't wait. And then Starsky is in with us today as well, like most days, and he's brought a buddy as well. Starsky, who's with you.
Hello, my friends. Pleasure to be here as always. This is Alex, also known as Sonechko. Can you please?
Yes, my name is Alex Sonechko. I'm the co-founder of Armata Volunteers. And I've been working before that for the Rubish Brigade of the National Guard, so for the 4th Rapid Response Brigade of the National Guard, which is Operator Stasi's brigade, actually, former brigade. And he was my commanding officer for a time, and I've been helping the brigade, or working with the brigade since 2022. And we grew bigger and bigger. My effort with the brigade grew bigger and bigger. And I've actually asked Operator Starsky if he wants to help the brigade again, or help the brigade by joining the Armata Volunteers.
But we will talk about it
later,
a bit later. Yeah.
All right. Cool. So, I mean, I look at news and headlines and stuff, and I don't know where to start. But I do. Slavi's little hexagon isn't showing up, so I have something to fix and do in the background. Georgie, why don't we turn to you? Where do you want to start with things and happenings and going on? What's on your mind, buddy?
I mean, well, I was considering how the weather can affect Ukrainian conditions, with the weather being so drastic that maybe we're going to have a lot of sick people coming out. And I was like, no, obviously not. The main news that are on everyone's mind is obviously what's happening with Trump and what's with the health, like, can Ukraine survive and so on. Everyone is worried. Everyone on my channel has been nonstop bombarding me for the last couple of weeks, panicking, asking for can we even survive this. I had to do a couple of videos, couple of streams talking about that. Yeah, it's going to be tough if US is going to pull, but it's not going to be critical. And I'm happy to see that more and more, like some people that are very closely tied to Ukrainian military or Ukrainian military personnel, they're all coming out and saying that, no, we have actually already doing a lot ourselves. We already are working on potential backstops. For example, Starlink is a big issue. The topic about that, because Starlink has been purchased, so it's being paid for. It's a dedicated paid license. It's also a lot of Starlinks that are being used in Ukraine. It's about 100,000. So it's like millions of dollars that are being pocketed by the Starlinks and so on. There's a big question whether or not it will be shut off, like, because there's a lot of complications to this. But even beyond that, some things that the Ukrainian, as I said, military personnel has been stating is, like, look at the Kursk region. What's happening in Kursk? Do you see that our forces are able to communicate and still fight Russians efficiently? And the answer is obviously yes. And that is because, despite the fact that Starlink doesn't work in Kursk, Ukrainians are pretty capable to set up their communications even without it. So this is just one example of all the many, and I think it's a great starting off point. Just, I hope everyone gets off with the right foot that Ukraine is going to be, I don't want to say fine, because that would be a little bit dismissive, but there are options how they can overcome additional difficulties.
Any thoughts from anybody on that? Starsky, you guys want to jump in at all?
Yeah, absolutely. We have alternative channels of communication that are being developed right now. Some new will be also introduced in the nearest future. Therefore, there was a question in the commentaries on my channel, for example, what about the Starlinks, how critical it is? We know that there are two ways the Starlink can influence, can change the communication in Ukraine. They can turn off the Starlinks that were, for example, purchased by the United States Agency for International Development, and those are generally several thousand Starlinks. And also we have many more Starlinks that were purchased by other countries, for example, like Poland. Poland bought between 6 and 9,000 Starlinks, I believe, in like 2022, 2023 alone, and those will be functioning. Another thing, of course, is that they can turn off the communication over a specific region. That is a different thing, but again, considering the fact that those Starlinks were paid for, I don't really think that it will happen. But again, let's not underestimate the impact, because currently there's almost I think more than 100,000 Starlinks. 100,000, right, Georgie?
Yeah, very close. At least I've heard the number of 100,000.
Mm-hmm.
And some people, like here, for example, commenting in chat that Starlink is like such good, that there's such a good bandwidth. For certain tasks, yes, but like for other tasks, like if you're talking about connecting just units in between the command posts, potentially like something like optical cables, just physical cables, could work as well. So there are options, despite the fact that Starlink provides really good and important service. For example, like surface kamikaze naval drones. For those, like Starlink is obviously very, very useful. Sorry, Starsky, back to you.
So the biggest impact will be concerning the drones that you use Starlink terminals to operate. But again, I think we will overcome this as well. It's not like Ukrainians are running out of 556 millimeter rounds or like 155 millimeter shells. It's a communication. We had a lot of issues with the communication early during the war, when Russians were destroying Ukrainian mobile towers, and we overcame this. So I think we can fix that as well. It's a challenge, but Ukrainians can adapt to challenges pretty well, I would say.
Oh, yes, indeed. Commander, did you want to get in on this?
My only comment would be losing Starlink, should that happen, will hurt, but it's not critical. There are alternate methods to get stuff done, not as efficient perhaps, but it still can be taken care of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there was I wanted to bring this up, but this is still in this weird area of kind of unconfirmed, but kind of, there's, I think it was a Finnish minister put out a little tweet on X saying that the the U.S. government is, although it's not announced yet, is giving 3 weeks for the Ukrainian surrender, or there's the pullout and stuff. Now, even if not exactly true, it's an obvious power play and a total dick move. Not to call myself down, but you know.
Yeah. We had an interesting discussion on In Time on Thursday about this and whether is the U.S. changing sides. I don't know. I could qualify it as changing sides, but it's certainly not staying with the same team. I think it's more akin to forming your own brand new team and trying to recruit players, if you will. And I think the Finnish member of the EU Parliament's comment, if it's valid, because we were unable to corroborate that other than the one source we saw about it. I think that comment is a valid one in terms of it's a wake-up call for the rest of Europe that you may not be able to rely on the U.S. anymore, and it may be time to start thinking for other mutual defense solutions if the U.S. should pull out of NATO or stay in but not be really a partner, if you will.
Sorry about that. I thought I couldn't hear myself in the headphones, so I knew I was muted. Slavy, what you've got your finger on the social media pulse a bit, so to speak, right? Any thoughts on this whole power play, pressure move, and whatnot?
Well, I did notice there's a lot of fake news stories going around, like something like Trump was going to be in Russia on Victory Day. That was fake. So there's a lot of craziness going around, but I trust in Zelensky. He's got the power. I mean, it's clear what Trump is doing, and it's, in my opinion, I think everyone else too, it's extremely dumb. Is it gonna work? Not with Putin, I don't think, but I think Zelensky will prevail in all these crazy clowns.
Good words.
Crossed.
Yeah, exactly. Starsky, anything on the mind that you wanted to get us into here?
What I can say, there is a lot of disinformation. There is a lot of attempts to sow discord between the US and other countries more than American president possibly can do himself. And we all know that those attempts are coming from Russia as well, because Russia is interested to pump up this discord and hatred between nations as much as possible, which they successfully accomplished. They successfully do that. At the same time, of course, we have a lot of disinformation coming from American president himself for the reasons I cannot explain. What we can see clearly is that he doesn't consider Russia an aggressor, no matter what was previously, what was the previous agenda in the White House, but currently it changed. United States officially asked Ukraine to cancel its United Nations resolution, where Ukraine calls Russia an aggressor, because apparently, according to the official position of the United States, it's not supposed to be this way. Again, for the reason that I cannot understand. But again, the level of disinformation coming from the he quite high. Okay, let's call it this way. On my channel, I published a video fact checking President Trump. President Trump, one of the recent statement made in his social media, because President Trump is a president of world's leading economy, and generally a lot of people read President Trump, right? That's why it's necessary to make sure that those people also have access to facts. As President Zelensky said, he respects American people for their support to Ukraine, but at the same time, apparently President Trump is surrounded by a big amount of disinformation, which is nothing new because we are all surrounded by big amount of disinformation on a daily basis. I'm trying to be as tactical as possible because I am not a politician. I'm just a humble institutional specialist.
I'll translate this into redneck. They all fucking liars.
Don't soft sell it, Dick. Come on.
Quick shout out here from Annette. One of the direct Ko-fi donations there. You can see it on the screen right under where I am there. And that's our team leader, Annette. So big round of applause for Ukraine and to say thanks to all our great viewers watching today. Happy to see y'all. What a great message. You see, we're promoting the direct Ko-fi donations more than super chats because when we're doing fundraising, like today, we've got some money going to Britain, Ukraine. I think he's got his camera off, but he'll be back joining us here in a few minutes. And if we get it through super chats, YouTube takes 30% right off the top. And then we lose another little bit to Google AdSense when they tax us and pay us out. And it can take up to like 50 days or so because of the cycle of payouts from YouTube and then to AdSense. If you donate direct through that Ko-fi place, we can give it to them right at the end of the show. It's direct. And we only lose a couple of percent, not 37 or whatever, right? So yeah, we're promoting them bigger now. They get the high road. Now to some super chats. Sorry, but that's how you're gonna take it sometimes. I know I'm feeling stupid right now. We got Petra Olsen in with her Swedish kroner 129 standard donation with love to Ukraine. Come on, Apple, where's my goddamn hearts, you silly sod? There we go. And that's her quit smoking to help fund Ukraine fund. And lucky I had put mine out because I don't feel so bad then. We also had Yvonne Way remember up. It's 22 months in a row. So big shout out for that. Johnny Nedregard come in with 22 Norwegian kronas. Hello, Shills, Slava Ukraini. Hero Slava. Great shout, buddy. Thank you. Thank you. And Yvonne Way came in with a super sticker. She's the queen of them around here. And it looks to be the little lemon guy sucking on something that's got to be full of whiskey because he just heard some more stupid Trump news. So that's what that super sticker is today. Thanks, Yvonne Way. Thanks, everybody. Very cool. I was supposed to... is Britt here proper or should I wait a minute? Britt, you available or still on hold over there? Give him a couple of seconds because there could be some latency. And I think Britt's on hold right now. So I'm going to switch over and I can almost read the questions properly. They did screw up my glasses, but it was a good first attempt. Mitch Dashdown is asking, what is official when presidential orders are given with tweets? Well, I would say it's about as official as that salute to the president right there. But, it's about as official as this, I would say. Wait a minute. Maybe this one? So, but anybody want to take a stab at a real answer? I'm just screwing around here.
To what question?
I would do it real quick. So, guys, small announcement, I think, on my side, as my bro Alex already said. So I decided to join a foundation that helps my brigade because it's been a while and I would really like to do something to support my guys. We have some incredible news from my brigade regarding the command, people I know personally and things like that. Really, really happy to hear that. But I decided to join the fund that is called Harmata, and that is an organization that supports my brigade in terms of different equipment and drones and everything else. I will be promoting this foundation on my platform, and Alex, maybe you can take a couple
Yes,
words.
well, Harmata Volunteers, it's called Harmata Volunteers. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. We have also our own page, web page, but Harmata Volunteers was created in 2023 with a partner of mine, Dmitro Kushnir, who actually has a band, a heavy metal band called Harmata, and you can find them on YouTube. They're quite famous in Ukraine. Dmitro Kushnir joined the 4th Rapid Response Brigade of the National Guard, the same brigade of Operator Starsky, and where I started my career in Ukraine. So we're all now a team of soldiers and volunteers working for the Rubish Brigade. It's called the Rubish Brigade now. And what Harmata Volunteers is doing, we basically work at the brigade level. Brigade level, it means we're not collecting 1 helmet or 2 helmets. We're collecting things in big amounts for a couple of thousand people serving in the brigade. So we're working with the headquarters of the brigade. So Harmata is supplying Starlings, cars, whatever we can get. We're depending on the money of people, and we're depending on our followers online to basically help us. So we're going to have lots of big things coming up in the next couple of weeks. But the biggest news is that Operator Starsky is joining Harmata Volunteers, and he will post many things in the future for fundraising for the Rubish Brigade that we are supporting.
Awesome. Yeah, it's very important to me personally, because current commander of my brigade is the commander that commanded my company. It was 1st Infantry Company. That was the 1st infantry company in the whole brigade when it was just formed 10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago in 2015. And it's very important to me because I know this man for a very, very long time. He was my company commander. He was awarded before he became a commander in my brigade. He was awarded with a medal for bravery in 2014, when during the Russian attack, Russian armored attack on Ukrainian positions, he took RPG and destroyed 2 Russian tanks. He was wounded during this battle, and he's an incredible person. He's very young, and he's experienced and educated at the same time. I cannot call him like my friend because subordination doesn't allow me to do that, right? He was my commander. I have great respect to this person, and I will do all I can to support my brigade and my guys.
That's excellent, man. We got the links flying out in the live chat right now. So if you're watching the show, but you're not in the live chat, jump in at least to get the link. I'm going to get the description of the video edited, so they will be logged in as well. And we'll get some awareness and, help in.
It would be great that the followers can follow us or join us on Facebook or Instagram to follow the news of the Harmata Volunteers site and what we're collecting for. Just to follow even will be perfect to have more international followers, because at the moment we're mostly Ukrainians, which is perfect also, but we really want to expand in the English-speaking countries and to get more viewers overseas, Canada, USA, Great Britain, wherever,
Right. Okay. We just had a boom fund donation in from Jonesy in the chat, so big shout out there. Thank you. Ken Patterson came in as well, the $10 super chat. The U.S. cost to colonize UA was $63 billion in used military hardware for an estimated $1.4 trillion in rare earths metals. Well, Great shout out, Ken, because I was just going to turn to that discussion right now. Georgie, I'll turn to you first here. I see the actions of like an Al Capone level mobster, gangster in this whole play that's going on. Thoughts? What do you think?
No, I'm actually on the contrary. I'm a big proponent of Ukraine going into the trade relationships with United States, European Union.
I agree there.
I was always an advocate for the fact that that Ukraine, unfortunately, is in a trap where they are kind of asking for help, which they shouldn't do ever. The help just should be there. And my biggest problem was that it was never perceived as investment and was never promoted as an investment in the West, that we're investing in our defense. And I thought that because of that, it's much better if Ukraine agrees to, for example, that people will get rights to work on the land, that they will get resources. And instead of having these relationships that are purely dependent on the goodwill of the allies, it would be transitioned to something like contractually connected, where there is a clear definition that like you get this land this much, and you then promise to supply us with this much weapon at this point, and so on. And for that, I fully agree. I think this is something Ukraine needs to go for, and this is something that Ukraine definitely needs to explore, because I believe the more common investment we have in both the European countries and the United States in Ukraine, economic interest, I think the more entangled in this and more willing to support Ukraine we will be. However, when we're talking about what specifically happened with the proposal that got on the table for Zelensky, not the updated one, then it's a bit of a joke, because what was proposed basically, as we know it, was that the United States get exclusive rights for about half of Ukrainian resources. They get also about half of the network that Ukraine has for transporting of the natural resources like gas and so on. Ports as well, so infrastructure, and it goes with the clause that first and foremost we get paid, and everything else is after. So all of your taxes, all of your expenses, and so on, it goes after we get paid. So that's a joke. It's a colonial extortion. There is no goodwill in there. And as President Zelensky said himself, there was also no concrete security guarantees. It was just a loose memorandum that was proposing essentially, hey, Ukraine, Ukraine agreed to give the United States half of our stuff. That's it. And no security guarantees and nothing. And obviously, President Zelensky, being a person that has eyes, I guess, he just threw it out with the whole representative of the Trump administration that thought that Ukrainians are just idiots and fools, and he can just play them like a fiddle. Instead, he got sent right after the Russian warship. So now they came with additional new proposal, and as far as we heard, that was potentially improved, but not by a lot.
Well, here's the thing. Euromaidan Press has an article out today saying there's now a chance that the deal is actually 100% American control. Now, it's not 100% America profit, but it's 100% America control. I mean, that's business by point of a gun, right? I mean, it's
blackmail.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is.
Yeah. And I hope that Euromaidan news is incorrect, but it is one of the more fresher reports that Annette sussed out for her briefing we always get before the show, right?
Yeah. I think another thing needs to be pointed out is that 60-some billion aid that we gave Ukraine, it never had strings attached when it was given. Trump and his administration are retroactively going back and say, you now owe us for that stuff that we gave you. So it's a disingenuous little ploy, which I'm sure is going to profit, if not the orange shit gibbon himself, certainly his political backers and people who donated to his reelection fund.
Right. Right.
And it's also not 63. It's being claimed by the United States. There was what's the new number? 350 billion, I believe.
Oh, it goes
A
up every
ridiculous
time.
number.
Yeah, it goes up by 50 billion every time he takes a breath, right?
Yeah.
You know.
67 trillion.
It's crazy the lies
Yeah,
that come out of
actually,
his
I
mouth.
can also. Yes, Rudy, please go on.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Have this over the Ukrainian media, not only in Euromaidan, but in other Ukrainian outlets, that this current deal is much worse than the one that was proposed previously. People speculate, like, is it the way Trump usually deals with his business partners? Because Trump is known for being an aggressive businessman. He likes to bully his potential partners and things like that, which is something that I find plausible. But at the same time, it's really, really hard to bully Ukrainians that are being bullied for the past 10 years by Russians. Therefore, when such business proposals are being offered to Ukrainians that face some, I would say, more threatening things on a daily basis, like hundreds of Russian drones every night and ballistic missiles and cruise missiles, that just won't work. Like, with all the, I don't know, respect or whatever to the way Donald Trump does business, like, yeah, it's cool, but in Ukraine it won't work. We are not that desperate. Another problem is that he is very underinformed. So, for example, only today, Donald Trump learned that there are actually kidnapped Ukrainian children that were deported to Russia. Like, he had no idea that it happened, and the reason Putin was announced an international war criminal is basically that it's not like International Crime Court decided that, oh my God, he's bombing people, we gotta know. The reason that the arrest warrant was issued is because Putin kidnapped and deported Ukrainian children, thousands of Ukrainian children from the occupied territories to Crimea, to military camps for kids and things like that. Apparently, Donald Trump, I think, doesn't know about that as well, that Ukrainian kids are being trained in the Russian military camps and indoctrinated and turned into future Russian invaders. So there is still a lot for the Trump administration to actually learn about Ukraine. We don't mind. We will provide all the necessary information if the other side is ready to hear us.
Yeah.
So that is one thing. And there is a lot of things that they will need to learn about dealing with Ukrainians, because if Russia is not able to make Ukraine, I don't know, lose morale, give up, and things like that, maybe the reason he is so much underinformed about Ukraine is literally because he's a big fan of, like, Tucker Carlson and McGregor and whatever, because Trump is convinced that Ukraine is actually losing big time, that Ukraine actually collapses like in 3 days, which is my personal opinion. That is something that I can see. And he is very underinformed and misinformed about Ukraine. Therefore, I completely support the idea of this agreement being signed, because generally speaking, the overall value of the Ukrainian rare resources in that area is estimated to be approximately $14 trillion. That's why Ukraine can generally afford this, and of course, choosing between life and future and resources. Of course, we will pick resources. I think everybody will agree in Ukraine as well. But it's not the way such things work.
Yeah.
So we will see. We will see. I think that apparently in the upcoming 2 days, I believe, within 48 next hours, we will hear some new incredible statements. That's why I'm monitoring Trump's through social like every hour or so.
Yeah, and it just makes you laugh and cry all in one go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that news story about Truth Social, did it get canceled by Zelensky or by Trump in Ukraine? Do you guys know?
Which one? Which one?
Well, Truth Social, Trump's Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I have, because I thought the story was fake, but excuse me, I got two different stories that it was Zelensky who blocked Truth Social in Ukraine, but then I got news that it was Trump. So
Yeah.
I don't know. If anybody knows, let me know.
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah.
Another thing that's been frustrating about the Trump administration is how they're expecting Ukraine to have elections. How they've been that's been like, I mean, they have that thought, that they should have elections, that he's a dictator and everything, but how do they expect them to have elections when almost all their cities are getting bombed on a daily basis?
Winston Churchill would have slapped him for this one, right?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Unbelievably stupid, though. I mean, it's in the Ukraine Constitution that under a situation of martial law, you're not having elections. But beyond that, how stupid is it to say that while you're being invaded, politicians should be out marching the path to get elected and stuff? I mean, there's just bigger things going on,
Yeah.
But Dick, the U.S. held elections during 2 world wars.
Yeah.
Admittedly, nobody came close to interfering with it because they were an ocean away. But can't Ukraine hide behind its oceans?
Yeah. I know, it's ridiculous, right?
Guys, from the safety standpoint, why during the martial law and national emergency meetings of people are prohibited? It's not because we are afraid of like protest actions. Actually, protest actions are still happening in Ukraine here and there. The most recent one I've seen was taking place near the American embassy, by the way, in Kyiv. But generally, mass actions are canceled because there's war. And can you imagine a bunch of people, thousands of people going to an election point while there is a air alert?
Yeah.
Where will they go during the air alert? How will the election commission work during the air alert and things like that? Apparently, people who say those things, they don't really understand what the war really is. That is like literally my opinion.
And also, what I wanted to add is all the refugees, you're going to have to return. They're spread all over the world, and we have a certain number of refugees being in Russia, also Ukrainian refugees. How are they going to vote or be able to vote at any consulate or embassy? It's completely surreal.
Yes.
To have these refugees all over the world going to how they're being registered by the consulate, the embassies. I mean, it's a task. It's like, it's not going to have, it's going to take months to do this,
And considering all the people in the Russian jails where the human rights of Ukrainian citizens are not respected whatsoever.
That's right.
I have no idea how they will vote as well. So it's a ridiculous statement that literally confirms over and over and over again, in my personal opinion, that Trump administration doesn't really understand what the war really is, other than what Tim Carlson is talking on his channel.
Okay, so let me jump in here quick, everybody. 2 super chat shout outs here, Ko-fi donations, and then I want to turn to Britt in Ukraine for a little update. We've been doing some fundraising and stuff. So we have Karen Hensman in with a direct Ko-fi donation there, Ko-fi. Glad to see Britt up and running again. This is for Britt. Sorry it couldn't be more. Slava Ukraine. We're just so thankful for any help we get.
I love you.
Exactly. Well said, buddy. And then Silver Earth threw $25 in as well through the direct Ko-fi donation there. Slava Ukraine, Heroem Slava. And we are doing some fundraising for Britt today, so that'll go into the pot. But hey, Britt, how's it going? Give us an update and stuff.
Yeah, it's going all right. Recovered from my injury. Spirits are high. Just another day, training at the polygon, at the training ground, rotating to position, coming back, rinse, repeat, sleep, go to church. And yeah, that's a very fast week. A pretty fast way to put it. I'm sure Starsky understands as well.
Oh, yeah, very much. So you were able to get some of the gear so far with the fundraiser, right? Oh, sorry.
Yes, sorry, Starsky. Sure.
I wanted to ask you which part of Britain are you coming from, because your accent doesn't sound like any accent that I've heard. Like not like I'm expert in British accents. I know that Welsh accent sounds specifically, and my God, Scottish. Like you cannot.
Scottish.
Like,
yeah,
I believe it's 32 dialects. That's what they teach in English school. You're not far from London. Not far from London, though.
Yeah. Maybe just a
my
little
God.
hint of
Can
a
you
Yorkshireman in
talk-
there, but that's it. Just a hint.
Brit, can you talk Cockney?
Of course I can. It's everyone's watched Oliver Twist. We all understand. We can be very stereotypical.
Yeah.
If I told you to do a deep South accent from an American standpoint, the Americans probably could.
Yeah.
Or a very stereotypical, well-spoken Ukrainian pronunciations and such.
Right.
I'm sure there's
I would like to say,
We might get garbled.
I would like to thank. I would just want to say to Britt, I would like to thank you personally, because especially I really like Brits, and we're looking now a little bit in Europe for a British lead, in the politics, in the foreign politics. Germany is a little bit handicapped now because the Germans are having the elections, and the Germans are not really people that are really gung-ho. But we hope that Britain is going to take the lead in Europe, with France being the second best. Let's put it that way. We have the 2 nuclear powers, basically. That's the key points here in Europe is the 2 nuclear powers. And we really, I would really like to thank our British foreign volunteers in general for their participation in the war, and the commitment of Britain for Ukraine, which is really important. Absolutely important. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Well said, man.
Thanks,
Well
I'm very
said.
happy to be here. We're a sophisticated country, and we've had a very strong history, but, on the paper, we're described as a soft power. And it's quite unfortunate that, unfortunately, as this war and how this world works, money is what talks.
Oh, yeah.
And
power is also
I really
important.
hope there's such thing as a good country.
If there's anything that I've learned about
Yes.
soft power, is that soft power can turn into hard one really fast. For a longer time, I thought Denmark was like the softest of the powers. The people that just are like, we are interested only in just living in our comfortably and so on. And then in just a couple of years, they're like the biggest hawks in Europe. It's crazy.
Yeah. And we should get to Greenland.
Britt, I have a
as well. Yeah, go ahead, Starsky.
Britt, I have a question, which is my professional question, specifically on my channel.
Yes,
how's the food there?
how's the food here? Did you say?
Yeah. How's the food? Do they feed you well?
Ty знаешь, друзья, колбаса. Колбаса. we go down to the Produkti. We get some burgers, get some pizza on the way back. On operations, we stop off at the Oko, get the free hot dog and the coffee, buy a load of Red Bulls, normally pit bulls. Just try to keep the protein up and eat as good as we can. Amongst us, we do. We personally just cook randomly for all of us. I'll do it one day. No one has to ask. We just do it. They get the pilmeni and the pasta and such. And we all help each other.
What is your favorite Ukrainian dish? And generally, what is the tastiest stuff that you ate so far in Ukraine?
I have to say borscht, don't I? I can't not say this.
Not necessarily.
Ukrainian sushi, my friend. Holubsi, that.
I was like, what's Ukrainian sushi? But
Holubsi. It's very good. I first had it in Lukivka.
I thought for a second
I was staying with the German team.
hearing under fur, but shubai, it would be sushi.
It's like cabbage rolls that somehow boils and changes texture entirely with a filling inside. And it was great. But everything's good when you're hungry, innit? I was eating a cup.
I will tell you bro, I will tell you one secret approach to holubtsi. So generally, holubtsi is basically like rice and meat wrapped in the cabbage, right? So my mom found like a secret ingredient. It's like 50% rice and 50% buckwheat and like a lot of meat, like a lot of meat. And this shit tastes so good, so you can just forget everything. When I was a kid, when I was a teenager, I would eat like a freaking pot of that. So if you have this possibility, you gotta try it with the buckwheat because Ukrainians are crazy about buckwheat.
I love buckwheat.
Yeah.
I was eating it. I went back to England for a couple of months and I found myself buying it. I was having buckwheat, some diced chicken I'd fry, bit of salt and pepper on top. It was delicious. It was perfect. As they say.
Awesome.
So lovely.
Let me just jump in here quick, everybody. A couple of direct shout outs to do here. I think I did, but I'm not sure, so I'll just reiterate here. Silver Earth was in with $25 direct. Slava Ukraini, Heroem Slava. We've got Spider Fade in with a $20 direct one on Ko-fi as well. Half of each for Britt and Harmata. Done and done. Excellent. Thank you so much, Spider Fate. Here, we'll get the damn horn in too. And then Dunk on You 23 came in there. Slava Ukraine. Ukraine will prevail no matter what stupidity comes from Trump. That's what it says. Sorry, I'm not used to these glasses yet. And 4-letter words, 5-letter words, they're a little confusing, right? But big thanks there, everybody. Big thanks. And then we got Dunk on You gifting out 5 Shills memberships. And Linda S. giving out 5 Shills memberships as well.
It's all happening. It's all happening.
Yeah, man. It's going off. It's crazy. There's also Baltar, by your command, says with a $40 direct PayPal donation in, some of us Americans will never abandon Ukraine. Fuck Trump, Slava Ukraine. Words of wisdom, Baltar. Yeah. And then there is there's also I don't know if I should be I don't want to dox anybody, but there's a $7 and a few cents Canadian direct donation in through PayPal, and the initials are EK. So if you're in the live chat, let me know if I can shout that out, but it doesn't have a YouTube username and a message or anything. It's just a direct donation. So into the pot it goes. Big thanks. And, I'm just trying not to do that whole doxing social media thing. I think I'm caught up. So let's see here. Who, what, where, when, and why? Where do we fall now? I've got breaking news. This was sent over by Nick Suter there from In Time. at In Time Official on YouTube. Zelensky said he has brokered a deal for Canada to take over the U.S. It was during a summit with which the U.S. was not invited. Zelensky says Trump should just accept the deal for Canada to take over the U.S.
Fake news. That's fake news.
Exactly, man. Yeah. I did like it, though. Here, I could probably bring this up for you. The little bimbo there from Trump's press secretary, she says this.
Forward to the United States beating our soon-to-be 51st state, Canada.
That was right before the Four Nations hockey final between Canada and U.S. You want to see how the game ended? Stick it up your ass, Blondie. Fuck
By the
you.
way, from that game, I believe it was last weekend between United States and Canada, and there were hockey players that got into a fight. So the two hockey players from the American team were actually of Ukrainian descent, defending United States. So
okay. That's okay, though, because, it was really funny to me. I mean, being a Canadian, I know something about hockey. It's just how it works. And some of the news outlets that obviously know nothing about the sport were commenting on how violent the game was. I mean, that's hockey. That's what you grab somebody and beat the crap out of them because you're bored, right? That's the way the game is played.
Being exchanged in the recent boxing match. This can't happen.
I mean, it's the old saying, right? You show up for a fight and every now and then a game of hockey breaks out,
That's pretty much like I support and always go to see our local team. And even here, like on small scale local teams, we always get like 1 or 2 fights for sure.
Oh yeah, it's the way it's played, man.
It's Ukraine versus Russia in a boxing match. Usyk versus whoever.
Oh yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, big thanks to everybody in chat and whatnot. Let's see here. I've got a thing here. This is an Elon Musk BS from X, so this ought to be good. Let me just switch it over here. Elon says this is false. Reuters is lying. They are second only to AP as legacy news liars. Here's the thing from the Kyiv Independent. U.S. threatens to shut off Starlink if Ukraine won't sign minerals deal. The U.S. first raised the prospect of shutting off Starlink after Zelensky rejected, blah, blah, and Musk is just on a rampage. I mean,
he does too much ketamine.
Yeah, no doubt. No
See,
doubt.
in his last press conference, he was wearing glasses and he couldn't, he always stumbles, but he couldn't even get words out for like a minute.
Yeah.
For sure, ketamine.
And you see
know
that
who's the most powerful man in the United States is not Elon Musk. It's Elon Musk's drug dealer.
Oh, that's a good one. And then there's this weird situation going on where Grimes, Elon's ex, is trying to get him to follow through with something that's very important for their child and could have like long-term debilitating effects and stuff if he doesn't address it. And she can't get him to even acknowledge the thing. So she's resorted to trying to get a hold of him on social media. And she never does that kind of stuff. It's unbelievable. The guy is out there, right? Sure, he's got 13 kids, so it would take a bit of time, but pay attention to some of them. Some of the time, you deadbeat,
Also, his new baby mama had a kid, which she's like some kind of like right-wing extremist influencer. She also couldn't get a hold of him and had to take the social media route. So yeah.
Oh.
Not the best father.
No, not even close. His dad called him out and said,
bear the children, and his job is to ignore them after they're dead. What are you guys missing here?
Yeah.
He probably lost count of how many he has.
And with
I
the
think
names.
he's too busy in Washington, D.C., destroying the government.
Yes.
And, when you're destroying the government, you have no time for your children. He's full-time in D.C. and, doing his thing. Who cares about his family? He doesn't care about his family.
No. You can tell. It's obvious.
Yeah.
It's all about
Pretty
him. He
bad.
doesn't give a rat's ass. Donation in from Denob. $10 direct one on Kofi there. Thank you very much. For Britt Walensky for EU president. Oh, I don't mind that. I don't mind that very much. That's a good one. Super chat in from Karma Cryo.
Just having a cigarette.
Oh, okay. So big thanks from Britt there as well. I was confused there. Okay. Karma Chiropractic come in as well with a $36.99 donation there. Thanks you all for your honorable and important work. Oh, great words here. Let me give you a round of applause for that one. I love it very much. I think we're caught up. I know we've got some action in the questions room, but is there anything burning on the tongue and somebody wants to get in before I throw the Q&A?
Just a quick comment to the super chat that EU president is not as impressive title as you might assume. Like, because in EU president is basically like it's a workhorse. It's a position that doesn't really have a lot of power. It's a very, very how do you say, like a fill-in position. So
right. It's kind of like being the donkey that has to turn the bread crusher back in the Roman times, right? Okay. Let's see here. So in the questions room here, we got Gen Consensus. My question is, how viable is NATO now? Half the members are very weak and never even attempted to spend 2% on defense. Sorry, we're one of them. If the U.S. is not coming to save them when Russia attacks, who will? France?
Well, I have a rebuttal right away. So right away, it's yes. We went through, like, even just in my recent stream, I've posted this a lot. There is a document on the NATO readiness assessment where it looks at what's the NATO spending for that is expected for 2024, 2025. It's the latest one was for 2024 and so on projections. And the absolute dominant majority is already over 2%. And after recent excess, we're hearing that there's going to be a lot more expenditure on defense. That is one thing. And then on the other side, that while we see that there is a little bit of paralysis on the political front line, from what I'm hearing from the military circles, they are quite aware on the potential coming threat. And while the politicians are paralyzed, they are basically preparing for war. Like the militaries of Europe are getting together and says, no matter what our politicians decide, not decide, we need to get ready to war. We need to get the expeditionary force ready. We need to get the proper brigades in place. We need to protect the critical infrastructure in the Baltics. There is these conversations on a very practical level ongoing every day.
Stop buying US F-35s. No, I'm serious.
Yeah. Very much. The don't buy, insert American product here is a very strong sentiment in Canada right now. Oh, yeah. We're not taking kindly to our long-standing best friend being pricks.
What would one buy instead of a F-35?
The Eurofighter is very good aircraft. The Swedes have an aircraft. I can't remember what it is, but it's also very good. If you really wanted to get desperate, you could. Yeah, thank you. And you could probably go to the Koreans, who are developing their own version of an F-35.
So an
Gripen is really cool in terms of being able to operate from unpaved airstrips. That was one of the reasons why we wanted to send Ukrainian pilots to train how to operate them. So that they have quite slow stall speed. That's why they can operate from the raw strips, from gravel strips and things like that. Therefore, Gripens are extremely cool, but at the same time, Eurofighters are modern airplanes that can carry an F-load of weaponry. They can engage in air-to-air combat. They can use gliding bombs, laser-guided bombs, etc., etc. So those are very, very cool options that
And they also have many of
any
the
European
similar stealth capabilities to the F-35.
Yeah, absolutely. Generally, Delta Wing concept that is widely used by the European nations, France, Sweden, etc. It's a really cool concept because those airplanes are very good at operating at low speeds, and considering the Russian trend of using like Shahed drones. They can also be used very well for intercepting those. For example, in Ukraine, Mirage aircraft were already used to intercept Russian drones. But Mirage, unlike Gripen, can only operate from well-paved airstrips. That is like kinda disadvantage considering that Russians are constantly striking our like runways and other places that can be used as runways. But still, I think we have a small solution to this.
And I think that war in Ukraine also has taught us something, and maybe for a lot of the NATO powers to consider reviewing as part of their doctrine, is that this is not like a small, precise war where ultra-technical capabilities of a few tools is really dominant. The mass matters. The sheer numbers of frames that can be put up potentially will neglect the necessity for any kind of high-tech, advanced, super stealth, super capable fighters. If you just have more stuff in the air than your enemy, you potentially going to have a more dominant position.
Absolutely. I mean, like, if you have more donkeys, then you generally have a chance.
In the air?
Flying donkeys. They'll figure it out. Probably cheaper than making, cheaper than making metal or something, right? Marino 4691 in the chat had asked, hey, Shills, would you guys have like Pasha from Winghausers on or Brandon Mitchell? I think Brandon was invited once, but it didn't work out. And I think we had him on the list to try to get him invited over again. And Starsky, did you already bring Pasha on once before as a guest with you, didn't you?
Yeah, I think so. But
Yeah.
I think I can also use my natural charm and things like that to bring Brandon as well. So I will try.
Okay, so Starsky's on it.
I will intimidate him or bribe him. Like, something must work.
Go full Trump if you have to, but bully him into it. No, I'm just kidding. Great one though, Marino. Thank you. Let's see here. I'll stop complaining about them. I'll get it fixed. Janice Burgess in the chat there. How many EOs until this turns into a full dictatorship? They're getting out of hand.
Past tense?
Yeah. Right? I mean, the EOs, executive orders from Trump, just to make sure everybody's on the same page there. But I at this point, aren't 2/3 of them already unconstitutional and basically illegal? And I mean, it's just out of control. You know, I don't want to know where to take that. That isn't just completely ugly and everything I say. A couple of shout outs here. UTV and Ham there. Ken in the chat. $20 direct US on that Kofi. And that's for Brett. So huge thanks there. Awesome. And yeah, big thanks, right? And then Bobo Uzla is also in with $20 there. And it's for aircraft. All right. So flying donkeys it is. We're on it. Thanks, Bobo. We'll put it in the Boom Boom Fund for sure for Brit today here. I have another question here. Somebody was asking me, it wasn't me in the chat. Hey, Dawson, do you personally boycott U.S. products, by the way? I support Canada 100%. Yeah, as much as I can. I get Canadian or at least made in Canada because then most of the ingredients are still Canadian to be listed that way. It's not 100%, But I mean, as much as we can, we definitely do. I go to the Great Canadian Superstore now more, and I try to avoid Walmart at all costs. Probably put my grocery bill up 1.5%. But like Trudeau and a few people have said, we might have to bite a little bullet to vote with our wallets and make sure our voices are heard. So I'm willing to play. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mary Tyson.
So I want to share a secret. I want to share a secret. If you want to know why my hair is so puffy and curly and fabulous, so that is literally because I have a whole bottle of Canadian maple syrup on my kitchen. And it helps me every single time. This is the best protection for your whole family. You gotta try it. If you can find it in your Lidl or Kaufland or whatever, buy maple syrup from Canada.
I could get up and get it, but I'm not even sure where I put it. But the liquor store at Christmas even gave me a bottle of maple flavored Canadian whiskey. It's just like an airplane bottle sized one, right? But maple flavored whiskey, I just leave it to show people as a joke. I'm not drinking that. That's weird. Not a chance. Sorry, hold on. Okay, so Mary Tyson was in the chat and she was asking, so what was Russian point in the hit, the Chernobyl with the drone thing? What does anybody have any insight on what the point would be of doing that? Or is it just a complete screw up, Commander?
I think it's deliberate. I think it's to make people think that they're crazy.
You think, eh? So you figure it's like, don't mess around because we're willing to go too far.
Yeah,
no problem.
I'm unpredictable. If you piss me off, I just might do something totally crazy.
Yeah, no one in the world, even for Russians, would do it by accident. I mean, Chernobyl, one of the biggest nuclear power plants. Of course, it was on purpose and to scare people into war crimes.
I think that Alex agrees with me. One thing was upcoming German elections, and Germans are kind of anxious about nuclear power generally. And another thing is, as Commander said, is to make them look crazy, because Russians do a lot of different statements about striking European capitals with nuclear weapons and things like that. That is literally the case. That's why, considering that there is a new president in the United States, they just wanted to show that, look, anything can happen in Ukraine unless you make peace now. Okay, and peace in Russian terms means that Ukraine must be basically annexed completely and Ukrainian identity destroyed. What do you think about this?
Yes, well, regarding Germans are afraid of everything, about their own shadow. So we cannot really count on Germans on, for the future of the defense of Europe. They would provide, that's what I say, we have to count on Great Britain and in France, maybe, and Germans on the third place. But it's true. The Germans are afraid of anything. Scholz even said, he was really afraid of getting the Taurus cruise missiles to the Ukrainians because he was afraid that the Russian will strike Berlin.
Guys, just so you could understand, Germans are also very humble. Because the very fact that the very statement that Germans are afraid of everything was made by a German person who's been to all kinds of places in Ukraine, like all kinds of them.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, they are also extremely humble, and I can also say that Germans are extremely open, friendly, and when needed, they demonstrate incredible courage.
I'm talking about the government, the German government. That's, and the press and some part of the German population is really like, we don't want another war. Nobody wants a war, but we have to defend ourselves as Europeans. I'm not talking about Germans. As Europeans, United Europeans, we need to be able to defend ourselves and our values And these values, we share these values with the Ukrainians. So it has to be a common ground.
We have to turn this to Georgie right away as somebody that's very much got a European outlook and point of view. Your thoughts on this?
On Germany?
Yeah, well,
I mean, like if you're looking for leaders, have you considered Denmark?
but the you know, take care of ourselves, be ready, unify, build up, that kind of thing. What do you know? How are you feeling on that? As a Canadian, I can see a lot of logic to it.
Yeah, like you see, Europe is not a country. That's the biggest kind of problem. That's the biggest hindrance that's always been there, right? Germans are one
Americans
way.
Of that.
Yeah, Germans are one way. The Danes are the other way, and so on. And I think we are extremely bound by essentially what a lot is being promoted, like make Europe great again, which is a very painful statement for a lot of Europeans, because whenever someone says that, it's like, yeah, Europe used to be great. Europe didn't used to be great. Like, because the only thing that we did in Europe is basically kill each other for like centuries.
Yeah.
And no one kind of wants to go to that, because we kind of learned over time that, like, if you mean that someone is great, that means that someone else is going to pay for it, probably with their lives or the families and so on. And that doesn't really land the same way that maybe like looking as a unified country, because we're not a country. So whenever we say, like, you know, so we hear someone in Germany say, it's like, we'll make Germany great again. It's like, maybe not, maybe not. You know,
how about just decent, pretty good?
yeah. So that's why the hesitancy. And I feel that Trump presents an amazing opportunity for Europe, incredible opportunity. I know that my friend here, he referred to Germany being afraid of their own shadows. I don't think they're afraid. At least I don't feel that it's fear. I fear that it's more of a like acknowledgement of the responsibility and what kind of consequences could it be? Because, as you said, no one really wants to have war. But I think Trump's rash and very upfront attitude is very oppositional for a lot of Europeans. And I think we have, in recent weeks, basically had a very long look at ourselves, at each other. And I hear it a lot when I meet with people all across Denmark, when I talk with some European buddies, is that everyone is kind of like reflecting, what does Europe mean? And I think that right now, we are in a flux, and this can go a couple of ways. Mm-hmm. Either we find out what it is there that we can be on our own and find our way to make Europe more united, more self-reliant, or what is happening right now with Keir Starmer trying to essentially go to Trump and even this out, and maybe kind of fall back and don't let US get out, allowing us essentially not to reform, not to change, which I personally is a little bit am against this. I think it's about damn time for us to grow up and take care of our own responsibilities and find a way how to do it. Unanimity has been working for us during the peacetime, during good times. We're now in a lot more turbulent times. We have in our own midst people that are actively working against us. And these are new challenges, and they need to be answered, and they need to be answered fast. And fast is not something that is very often associated with Europe.
Oh, especially with a union of countries. Fast. I mean, we're talking about continental drift speeds, right? You know.
But it also has a good area to it. Like what I underscored is that, remember Europe at the start of the war, everyone was like, no, let's settle down. Maybe let's find some off-ramp with Putin, off-ramp and so on. Remember that? Mm-hmm. That happened. But then kind of like you saw like
save Putin's face.
Yeah, exactly. And like, but you saw like how slowly this thing turned, right? How finally they understood that maybe no, Russia is a threat for us. And now Donald Trump is basically presenting a golden opportunity to sell out Ukraine. And just, you know, it's like if you wanted an off-ramp and just like stop fighting with Russia and go to business as usual, there we go. US, we're offering it. Take it. But it didn't happen. Why? Because of that momentum. And that momentum right now is driving us.
Yeah. That's good words, man. Couple of shout outs here. And I also want to remind you guys, you might have noticed on this channel at the Shills here on YouTube that we don't really do the pub chats and the 42 show anymore on it because we got 2 other channels. So in YouTube search, you put at the Shills Live, and that's where you find our pub chats and our more hangout shows. And you put in at the Shills 42 show, and that's where you find our lighthearted take on subjects that matter to everybody that comes out a few days a week. So check us out. Make sure you're up to date because we'd love to see you there. We had Linda S come in with a direct Ko-fi donation of $50 for Brit. Thank you from Australia. Well, thank you from Canada, and I'm sure from Brit. There he is.
Thank you.
Very much, very much. And Dunk on You 23 came in with a Ko-fi direct donation here as well. It's all respect to you and what you do, sir. That's you, Brett. Slava Ukraini, $20 direct thrown in as well. So
I must say, I've got all these patches, so everyone who's donated over 40 will receive, and I will send them once I get my Zarplatu, my salary.
All right.
Which will be next week.
I'll get you the list of the direct ones in from here so you know who's who and whatnot. And if I go over and check PayPal, I would bet we're close to like 300 Canadian right now. So let me just log in and see. What else am I supposed to remember? Oh, yes. Tomorrow on the channel, Annette is hosting Beyond the Headlines with the gentleman right here beside me, Commander McMillan, and Janine Turblanche, the mercenary moderator. So, Commander, is that going out at 12 noon Pacific?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, 12 noon Pacific right here on At the Shills. Great show, so don't miss it, as we like to say around here.
Omnidimensional.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You better have a quantum theory reason for not being there. Like, somebody opened the box and you disappeared, right? Let me go. Yeah. Let me head down here. Where am I? Sorry, everybody. Linda Cito there in the chat. What's the guarantees and future military aid given to Ukraine? As far as I know, I think everything's up in the air at the moment, even as it pertains to half of the EU and stuff.
Sadly, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we can at least safely say that for the moment, U.S. aid to Ukraine has basically dried up.
Yeah.
Until enough pressure is applied that the orange shit gibbon reconsiders his idiotic moves.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of European countries at least used to, and I do believe they're starting to draw away from it, but they follow the American lead. So their aid to Ukraine may also start shrinking. But yeah, I think there are a lot of countries in the EU that are going to continue to maintain their existing levels of support, if not increase them, to make up for some of the shortfall with the American withdrawal from that front. They know that the threat is very real and very much on their border.
Yeah. I'd like to see Canada do something where, we do a little raise of the debt ceiling, get involved more, get some more sending and support going and whatnot, integrate ourselves with the EU as trading partners a little bit more and whatnot, all of this stuff. I'm not in charge, which sucks because
I see a great opportunity for a maple syrup, rare earths trade deal that could lead to great things.
Yeah. Oh man, we'll send you guys the maple syrup flavored whiskey, because then you can all get liquored up while you enjoy maple syrup, right? I'm sure it's all sitting in a warehouse. Nobody wants that shit, right?
Also, there was a news story that I think Zelensky said, or a Ukrainian government official, that instead of signing a rare earth deal, Ukraine does have a surplus of eggs that we can send to the United States. And that would be great.
Yes.
And a couple of not so sickly chickens, right? Just to kind of keep it rolling.
It speaks volumes that the Canadians have a strategic maple syrup reserve, while the Americans have a cheese reserve.
Yeah. And it's not even real cheese.
No, it's the American processed stuff. It's not cheese. It's
solidified
food-like
oil. It's just revolting.
Well, if you want to throw us some over the border, because like Canada and Denmark shares a land border, so
yeah,
we're always up for it.
Yeah. I foresee. Sorry,
I thought that was resolved, and they were going to flip flop who controlled the island every other year or something.
I don't know if that got actually signed off on. Last I heard it was a plan. It was
signed off, so now we're sharing a land border. Yes,
that's awesome. That's like
so they kept the existing border then.
Yeah,
or established one rather.
Yeah, I guess, right. It's kind of like being one of the cities in Formula One that hosts a race every other year because you share it with somebody, right? Or sharing. Isn't that lovely? Welcome to sharing, Georgie. How are you feeling about sharing with me? Oh, awesome. A couple of shout outs here. I love the shout outs, everybody. Thank you so much. It's been a great day for putting some funds in Brit's pockets here. Silver Earth came in with, I think, at least the second time today now. $25 direct one in through Ko-fi. Take care, hugs, and big thanks. Oh, what a message. If you guys don't know, this, I always do that. This painting right here was painted in Ukraine, auctioned off. Silver Earth won it and sent it to me so it could be on the show. How cool is that? And then we had a donation from Paul Gilbert, guitar player from Mr. Big, Racer X, and a few. $50 direct donation in for Brit. Woohoo! Thanks, guys. Huge shout there, Silver Earth and Paul Gilbert. Way to go, guys. Is there anything down here?
I'll read the chat afterwards as well.
Sorry?
I'll be able to read the chat afterwards. I just can't read the chat and be on the live stream at the same time. I have some issues.
Yeah.
Any messages or things people have said, hellos, I will read it afterwards.
Perfect. Yeah. And we do let the chat republish, so it'll be there and make it easy. Let's see here. We've got Carson Larimore, $10 super chat here. Let's change all the Great Lakes names to the Canadian lakes. Oh, I love it very much. It'll be the Great Canadian Lake of Superiorly, not Trumps. Yeah, this is a great idea. Okay, new map coming up. I'll get my dunk to do up some AI and the AI alchemist there, Carpathian, as well. Ozzy T came in with a message as well here. Thanks to the excellent guests and awesome mods. Oh, don't ever skimp on the awesome mods around here. We've got one of the best teams on YouTube, bar none. And then Super Chat Matt himself here came in with a message for the Ukrainians. KUTGW. We like you all, Ukrainians. Keep on showing Putin who's boss. Slava Ukraine. Fuck Putin. Fuck Russia. Well said, Matt. Love it, buddy. Love it. Super Chat Matt there, the crazy long username, It's February. His YouTube channel is pushing on 10,000 subs right now. He's kicking some ass. So check it out and see if you can make sense of him. It's crazy. He's got his own unique thing going on, and people love it, right? Let's see here. Donation from Dunk on You 23 and direct $50 donation. He says, Brit, you're a hero. I hope your injuries have healed and that you're doing okay, sir.
I'm nothing. I'm just a person who's here.
Yeah, true enough, right? Yeah. The oh man, that must be tough in a moment like that. I don't even know what to say. And then we had one down here from Tim's direct super chat here, €50 as well, or is that pound? Working on the new glasses here, and it's for Brett. All right, big thanks there, Tim's. Is that Tim's, as in like Tim Hortons? Tim's? Is that a Canadian thing? I'm looking at the time, and we've got about 15 minutes before I have to start in for packing up and whatnot. So, first, yeah, let's get to our guests and make sure we get, things in and said and so on, still in some channels and whatnot. Turn to yourself, Britt. Your connection's working great right now. Lay it on us. Give us some thoughts and wrap up stuff here.
Thoughts and wrap ups. I just want to say the usual stuff. I love you. I love you all. It's great to see you, Starsky. I've never been on the stream with you before. Thank you. And please send donations their way. They really do a lot for this country. Really just as meaningful as anyone else's here.
Oh, yeah.
And I really appreciate them and people such as themselves. For those who don't know me, I'm a soldier in the 95th Air Assault Brigade. I'm in an assault battalion. I'm the only foreigner in this entire brigade. It was a bit of a struggle. But I'm here and it's working. And yeah, some close misses, but I'm still alive. And we live another day.
Awesome.
And yeah, I'm going to pass it on to the next people. Don't really know what to say. I'm not great at this.
Well, it's a perfect transition. Perfect transition because Tim's comes in with another 50 direct super chat there. And it's for Starsky's crew. All right. Yeah. Now, Starsky, we're planning a Monday stream on the Ukraine update as well. And some of the Car for Ukraine crew are going to be coming. But they're not fundraising right now because they're in the middle of deliveries and stuff. So can you join on Monday and we'll do the whole show for fundraising for the new group there?
I would really, really like to, but Monday will be 3 years since the beginning of the war, and unfortunately, fortunately rather, there will be a lot of rallies around the world. And by the way, if you want to participate in one, please check, use Google and find where there is a rally, because there will be a big map with all the locations that you can find closer to you. So I will be apparently in Essen and apparently somewhere in Bonn. And unfortunately, I will not be able to join, but I will be streaming. From one of the rallies.
Well,
so guys, it's just a tiny reminder for you that on Monday there will be rally probably in your city as well.
I didn't realize.
I'll be rallying in Kursk.
I had it screwed up and I had it down as Tuesday for rallies because we've got one in our town as well. And I want to definitely make sure my son and I are there. So Monday's show might have to get booked to Wednesday to make sure that I can do it. Claire's in the live chat there. Claire, I'll be in touch with you as soon as the show's over because I might have goofed. It's starting to look so. So Starsky, give us some words about, let me see here. Let me get the website up and everything too, right? Yeah, Hamatra. Here we go. So yeah.
Yes. Well, like I said before, please join us on Facebook, on Instagram. Just follow us, even if you cannot donate any money, to share the page, to click on the page. Very important to follow us and share the page, basically. If you cannot donate directly, we have PayPal, we have Euro accounts, we have a US dollar account, we have crypto, we have a lot. Basically, and everything will go to the Rubish Brigade, the 4th Rapid Response Brigade of the National Guard. Everything will go to them, to our brigade, basically.
The brigade that basically was among the first ones that took battle against Russians in Hostomel, in places like Rubizhne, Severodonetsk, Lysychansk, Bakhmut, Chasiv Yar, and some of the most hottest spots on the front line even before the full-scale invasion. And by the way, speaking of those times, I would also like to mention 95th Brigade, Air Assault Brigade, that for us, when we were stationed on the front line during 2014, 2015, and all the way to 2022, those guys were always an example of bravery. Everybody wanted to be like the guys from the 95th because they were brave and crazy in good meaning. That's why I'm also very proud that our Brits joined this specific brigade, because you gotta like really have a pair of nuts to be there, to serve there, and to prove everybody that you are brave enough. So I have big respect to Brit, to the guys from his unit, and also people say that Ukrainians inspire the world with their bravery, but you want to know who inspires me. It's literally people from other countries who have their own life, who have their own ambitions, their own future, and actually good life, but they come to Ukraine to fight because they fight for justice. They fight for something that is very important, and the values that they share when they fight for Ukraine, those are the very values of all the democratic world, because sometimes democracy requires you to fight for it. Therefore, I would like to say big thanks to everybody who fights for Ukraine, everybody who supports Ukraine as volunteer, providing the supplies for Ukrainian civilians, for Ukrainian army. And I would like to say big thanks for your support. You are my heroes.
Well said, buddy. Good shout.
Awesome,
Good
bud.
shout. Good shout. So let me turn over to Rudy Acostas here on YouTube. Rudy Reacts here. The mods will get your link dropped in. Let's get some subs over to our new buddy here. What do you think, Rudy?
Be done.
I'm not hearing them. Is that just me or is it everybody? Okay, hold on. Let me refresh your microphone. See if we can kick you back in, Rudy. Try it again. Oh God. Here, look on the screen. See if you get a pop-up. That might kick your mic in. And it just doesn't really want to do it, does it? Okay, Rudy, just rejoin. I'll kick over to Slavi and then I'll kick back to you. Just rejoin us because there must be an issue there. I can't seem to make it work for him. I'm pushing all the buttons I got. I'm pushing it. I'm pushing. Okay, so he's going to rejoin. He'll be back in a second here. Slavi, what do you think? Over to you at Yurichenko on YouTube. Let's get the link in for some subs.
Yes, thank you. So it's actually, the rallies are going to be the whole weekend, and tomorrow is a big day too, so it's not on Monday. And especially if you're in United States, it's so important that you go and show support for Ukraine. Bring your MAGA grandma, bring your pets, bring everybody. It's especially your MAGA grandma. It's the most important year and we need to, for the media, we need for this government to see just how much support Ukraine has. And I know it's quite a lot. So yeah, I really hope I'll try to live stream. I'm going personally tomorrow in Los Angeles, and if I can figure it out how to live stream, I will do that as well. Also tomorrow I have an interview coming out with Phil on the Edge. Yes, so look out for that, and brand new news brief video as well coming out tomorrow morning. And yeah, I just thank you so much for your support, and keep calling your government officials, keep supporting, and we'll get through this very, very dark time.
Yes.
And yeah.
Good words. Good words. Rudy was in and Rudy was out. We'll drop Rudy's link in the chat. He is a good new YouTuber, just building his channel, needs some sub growth. So let's get the link in again. Everybody get over there. Commander McMillan, what do you think there, pal?
My usual reminder to everybody, please communicate with your elected officials. Keep applying pressure. Tell them that Ukraine is important. We know to some extent that's having a minor effect on what goes on in D.C. the Trump administration recently modified or retracted some of what was in that infamous text that came out from Trump, where he said, well, Ukraine was the ones that invaded Russia. They had to retract that and said, well, no, the president misspoke. So, yeah, we know that applying pressure to your elected officials works. So keep that up. It's essential if we want that to continue.
Rudy just joined. He couldn't hear us properly, but I could hear him, damn it. So it's one of those things. We'll just give him a second here because I do have a shout out here. It's direct through PayPal. $50 direct from Thomas Mende. Love the show. It's important. Donation for Brit. So a huge thanks there. Huge thanks, because that puts today's PayPal total going over to Brit at $550 Canadian, but it's $550, right? So huge shout, everybody. Huge shout. Here comes Rudy. He should be on the screen any second with us. There we go. Rudy, go for it. Rudy, what do you think? Even if you can't hear me, pal, go for it. Talk. Oh, I'm trying to type to him in the background right now. Let me just see here.
Hello?
Yeah, you're good.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Nope.
It doesn't matter if you can't hear us. Say goodbye. Say goodbye.
All right. Everybody, it's been a pleasure being on here today. So just trying to continue to get my channel off the ground, but I don't know if you guys could hear me, but so it's been awesome.
Awesome, Rudy. Very cool indeed. So he can't hear us, as you can tell, but we heard you just fine. Everything's cool there. Let's turn it over to our special guest today, Georgie from Ukraine Matters. What words of wisdom would you love to leave to the viewers?
Well, the most important words already have been said. Continue supporting Ukraine, and I'm just going to address what I started with, which is don't despair. Like the media, a lot of the general perspectives, they have been wrong. Like everyone was expecting Ukraine to just fall over, tumble, and be done for in a couple of days. Don't despair. Ukrainians are better than this. You know that. The only thing that has happened is that we got a lot more diluted information space. Keep supporting in any way that you can, like with donations, with everything. But most importantly, is supporting with your voices. Right now, we're living in a weird time where we're being challenged on different fronts in US, and a lot of people have tried to tell me that we should just write off US, that it's not our ally anymore. I do not think so, mostly because I've seen recently just videos of how much pushback the Trump's administration and their aggressive actions have did. Like when people get to their local level, talk with their direct representatives, congressmen, I believe right now is the week where congressmen, or it was before when congressmen went to their representatives and talked with their representatives.
Yeah, the town hall.
Correct. And how much pushback and how uncomfortable they felt and so on. So it works. Pressure works. Get that feedback, get that pushback. We see a lot of states, we see a lot of other systems. So there's definitely a push that challenges the state of the United States. And if you just continue supporting that democracy, continue supporting what US stands for in your mind, that's the only path for victory. Ukrainians never give up, and they are already victorious because they haven't lost yet. And there is still a hope to win. And if we don't fight, we don't win. So continue supporting them. Even if you don't have the money, donations, it's fine. Go support, get out, show your support, print out the Ukrainian flag, go on the one of those events that are happening all across multiple countries, and just show your love for Ukraine.
Well said, buddy. Just as we're heading out here, we got Denob in the Ko-Fi direct donation there for $40. It says for Brit. So big thanks there. It says, stop buying F-35. It's easier said than done, though. If Belgium would cancel the order and go for Eurofighters, we can't give Ukraine our F-16s. At the moment, F-35s are being delayed by Trump.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, and then we got Mr. Blonde in with a 50 euro super chat there, and it says Ukraine will win. I had to translate it, but I did get it done. Awesome, awesome. And then R comes in with a super chat for 20 bucks as well. Hey, folks, great chat. Here's something for Ukraine. Oh, love it very much. So huge thanks to Britain, Ukraine, Starsky and Alex, Rudy Acosta, Georgie from Ukraine Matters, Slavi from at Yurachenko, Commander McMillan, retired U.S. Navy, and myself, a blithering idiot. We all want to thank you for joining us and supporting Ukraine. Let's say it together, everybody. Slava Ukraine.
Ukraine.
Heroes Slava.
Heroes Slava.
I
Heroes
love it.
Slava.
Let's hit the button. See y'all soon. Wrong button. Ah!
It's over. Go home. Go.